Hey folks, some of the circles that I've been researching, some of the articles that I've been reading, some of the media outlets that I've been visiting, whether it's on through Facebook or Twitter or NPR, CNN, CBC, any of those outlets, regardless. There's a lot of stuff floating out there right now about Christian nationalism, about the dangers of Christian nationalism, about how Christian nationalism has tied itself to politics, how it's tied itself to white supremacy, how it's tied itself to inequality and injustice, how it's tied itself to hate. Christian nationalism has become something that Christ would never have asked us to create. And the articles, for the most part, are really well written. There's a couple of books out there that have been incredibly well researched. The information has been gathered. It has been presented in interesting ways, in ways that we can understand, in ways that warn us, in ways that offer us insight into why this is happening. It's fascinating. They can teach us everything from the roots of Christian nationalism to why it's taking such a deep hold now, and all its various branches and connections to all the other stuff that's floating around out there along that wing of life. But as I was reading yesterday, it struck me that as well written as these things are, as well spoken as these sources are, as well-meaning as they are, as educational and informative as they are, they're never going to reach people who are connected to Christian nationalism. They are never going to reach those people that we would look at and say, oh, this is what a Christian nationalist looks like. This is what a Christian nationalist congregation looks like. The people that find themselves enveloped by what we would term Christian nationalism would never see themselves as Christian nationalists. They would see themselves as Christians. They may see themselves as fundamentalist Christians. They may see themselves as conservative Christians. But they would never walk around with the label, "Hi, I'm a Christian nationalist." Those words, at best, mean nothing to them. At worst, are seen as a slur towards them, something that the left has cooked up and painted them with. So as informative as these articles may be, as educational as these interviews may be, as these books may be, as insightful as they may be, they're not actually going to change anybody's mind. They're simply telling their audience what their audience has already come to understand. So how are we supposed to speak to those people that we see to be caught up in the web of Christian nationalism? What are we supposed to say to them to say, listen, don't you see that what is being taught to you, what is being preached to you is not the gospel of Jesus Christ? Don't you see that Jesus was never this political? Don't you see that Jesus didn't hold these same values that you are espousing to? How are we supposed to offer that message to those folks? How are we supposed to offer that truth to those people that we love, to those people that we're concerned with, to those people that we see are walking down a very dark path? This answer may seem wildly too simplistic. And for me, it feels naively simplistic. But you know, it is the answer. We evangelize. We evangelize. We share with them the person of Jesus Christ. We share with them the teachings of Jesus Christ. We share with them the life of Jesus Christ. We share with them his stories. We share his example. We share his call. We invite them to join us in our mission, never entering into a place of politics, never entering into a place of conspiracy, only ever speaking of Jesus. Only ever speaking of the mission that Jesus offers. Only ever speaking of his love and his mercy and his compassion. Only ever speaking of his desire for us to empathize with one another. Only ever speaking of how we are doing our best to follow him. Stay away from the Mosaic laws. Stay away from Democrats and Republicans. Stay away from liberals and conservatives. Stay away from those hot button issues. That stuff, it can't be digested yet. It's too hearty. It's too dense. We need to stick with offering what is palpable, what is easily chewed, what is easily absorbed. Stick with these messages. Stick with the person of Jesus Christ. If we want to change their minds, we have to change their hearts. To change their hearts, that requires us to bring in the big guy. It requires us to bring in Jesus. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord's countenance be lifted up to you. May you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. And I pray that for those we love, for those we think are walking a destructive path, a soul-crushing path, I pray we will give them life by sharing the life of Jesus Christ, by sharing the love of Jesus Christ, by sharing the hope that is found in Jesus Christ. Amen.